Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Glannygore, event 4 of the Motorsport UK Wera Tools British Kart Championships, and it's the build-up show, our preview to the full weekend here for all of our IAME classes, second round for their season, and KZ2 back this weekend round. Personally, one of my favourite circuits in the country. Free practice ongoing. As we stand, FP4 is out there at the moment, so we've got some of the times from FP3 that we're going to talk about, get you up to speed with what's been happening in the categories, both here in the UK and abroad as well, who's looking in form, who's changed teams, and who's also returning for this weekend. As we say, we've got the KZs back at the moment. They've been looking pretty good so far this weekend. Very tough circuit for the KZs. I've been having a chat with some of the drivers earlier on today about what are the challenges around the circuit. We'll have a look at it in a minute with the senior X30s. Tyres are going to be key. Tyres, they have got some more tyres for use this weekend. I do believe that they've got a fresh set for the final, particularly when you get these undulation changes around here. A lot of the drivers saying that keeping the rear axle under control. We'll actually have a little look here at Lee Ward's number 8. This is going to want to be one of the big characters of the weekend. Drivers in KZ keeping their rear tyres in check, not sliding too much across the course of their qualifyings and their heats. Their qualifying is tomorrow afternoon. That's the last session of the day, so do stick with us on the live stream if you're watching Saturday lunchtime for that, and then they've got all of their racing on the Sunday as well. So we've talked a little bit about tyres there. Let's actually give a bit more description of what we mean by that and what are some of the unique challenges here for this Glannygore circuit. It's the first time we've been here since 2023, and yes, it's probably pretty much the closest part of the circuit that we can get to. But this area here, down through Compression Corner and Devil's Elbow, some very interesting undulations that you don't normally get on a British kart circuit. You think of so many of the circuits that we go to, typically on former air bases, typically on runways. That is not the case here at GYG. This is often described almost as British karting's the Nürburgring or Spa, but particularly down here you see, particularly for the senior category, the junior, the senior categories and the KZ2s, not so much of a problem for the IAME Water Swifts. Look at how the front end of the karts get very, very light as they just go over that little dip there. For the KZs in particular, keeping the rear axle in control as you're both going downhill, light, over the hump and back on the power. Very tricky part of the circuit, but very important. You can't just take your time through here. It's a lot of what I've been hearing from the drivers so far today. You've got to be precise, but you've still got to attack. You've still got to go for it round these corners at Glannygores. So that's going to be a really interesting element across the course of the weekend that we are going to be keeping an eye on, but particularly with KZ2. Let's have a little bit of a wander round the paddock. Let's go into some of the awnings. Let's recover from the breeze. Let's just pop into BMR, give you a little bit of a rundown of what they've been doing today. They have got a driver change in terms of the British competition, not in terms of IAME competition, because Finley Lines has actually been with this squad for a couple of weeks now, raced with them at the recent IAME Euro Series round. So that is a change of colours for Finley Lines. In terms of their progress today, Archie Owen P5, Finley Lines P7 in the junior category, and of course they've got Lewis Bird once again, who was third in FP3 earlier on today. So keep an eye on Team BMR, particularly in junior and senior X30. Let's head on down, more racing. Miles Murphy back, of course, one of the ever-presents, actually having a little bit of a chat with his sponsors, Demon Tweaks. Demon Tweaks, of course, as well, big supporters of the championship. Could not do all of the good work without them. Must say, we've got to say good things. Of course, we've always got to say good things about our partners. Let's actually give you a little bit of news on how Miles was getting on today. In fact, not because he didn't set a time or didn't have a recording transponder on for FP3. But yeah, Miles
miles again, looking to build on from, I think, 6th in the championship standings at the moment. Croc Promotion, P18 for Oliver Meek in their practice session earlier on today in the juniors. They've, of course, got Gabriel Stilpin there with them as well. P9 for Gabriel. Seniors, I do think, is going to be very, very competitive here this weekend. So very much looking forward to, once again, is a double header for all of our IAME categories here this weekend. Let's talk Mick Barrett Racing. Their highlights: the number 6 of George Edgar, fastest in FP3 for the junior category. Ty Buckley looking good. Matt Johnston also in. So 3 Mick Barrett runners in the top 10 earlier on today. And they've also got Jack Buckley in there as well for their senior entry. Let's have a little bit of a wander to Evolve. Some big news for Evolve from Warden Law. We'll have a little interview later on that you'll see on the British Kart Championship social media. But your winner of Driver of the Day from Warden Law was their driver Ollie West. P7 in practice today for Ollie. 3rd in the championship. So well done to Ollie for winning Driver of the Day. Callum Graham was P4. Oscar Kenny P5 in the intermediate category. So for IAME Water Swift. So they're looking pretty good once again. Evolve to have a strong result here this weekend. Let's head up into lane number 2. Will Green is back. He can't at the moment. We'll have a chat with him later. We said that we've got some returning faces here this weekend. Last year's champion, of course, in IAME Water Swift, Will Green. He's back for a bit of fun, is what he tells me this weekend. So yeah, good to have Will back. We'll pop into the Jamie Green tent in a moment. But first, let's have a little bit of a chat about Rush Performance. We saw a big step forward for Rush Performance, of course, at Dunkeswell about a month ago. In terms of their performances today, as I'll just flick through my notes, Charlie Turner was P6 in FP3. That was the first of the fully timed sessions. For those not aware, the first 2 sessions of the day, they don't run transponders, they don't have to run transponders. They get a bit of practice, of course, but we don't get the times. We don't get the full information of how things are feeling. I am going to step in, have a little chat with Charlie Turner. Charlie, hard work this weekend. The first thing that I'm going to ask you about here, we've talked about it all already earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Tyres. Sounds like it's going to be a really tough weekend.
Yeah, definitely. But this weekend we've got 2 sets of tyres, so hopefully tyre advantage should be so big here this weekend.
What have you found out? What are you willing to tell us from the opening sessions? I mean, it already looks like the set that you've had on have done a fair bit of work.
Well, it's very difficult to tell. First 2 sessions myself, I was just running in an engine, everything clean, so I couldn't really push this morning until the 3rd session was on new tyres. That was really my first proper go, but then obviously just coming in, that was session 4, so the tyres they're not so bad in a minute, but obviously we've got 1 more session, so that's where we get a true indication what they really like.
Good stuff. The Formula K chassis, I think, is it fair to say you guys took a big step forward at Dunk as well? Are you feeling like you could take another one again this weekend and challenge Jade?
Yeah, we definitely made a big step forward at Dunkeswell. Obviously, there's a different track. It was a lot more fast flowing. The tarmac, there was a lot more grip here. Obviously, we're coming here more undulating. The tarmac is so abrasive, so it could be a mixture. You could see the Birrells, you could see Formula K's, Sodis, and even Kart Republic. It's really difficult to tell who's going to win this weekend.
Fantastic stuff. That's what we like as neutrals in the box. Charlie, the whole team, best of luck for the weekend ahead. I think it's going to be, KZ's going to be a game this weekend where you really got to keep on top of things and as I say, hold as much back for that final on Sunday as you can. Just to run through the rest of what we saw, excuse me for a moment, for the other Rush Performance drivers. As we say, we saw from Charlie P6, Ashley Lewis P8, Bryn and Nino were 12th and 13th. Nat Thomas was 7th. We've breezed past Jamie Green Racing. In fact, sorry, Dan, we'll just hop back to Jamie Green Racing to see if any of their drivers are in there for a little bit of a chat. As I say, we've already seen Will Green running on by, back in, of course, in the junior category now. That is a big difference to what we saw last year. Freddie Wood here as well. We'll have a little chat with Freddie if he's willing. Freddie, some more good performances recently. I know Wera, you had good speed, but not always the best of luck. But back into British mode now. GYG, a circuit you enjoy?
Oh, it's quite a cool track, like blind corners, going up and down. It's like a nice track, and I prefer it over some other English tracks.
I was going to say, it probably is a circuit that suits your style quite well. That, you know, you've been saying to me across the course of the season, you do quite like the flowing nature of the European tracks, the ones we've been racing on in Spain in IAME Euro Series. But there's that other thing, we are in North Wales, and it could be a little bit wet at times this weekend. How do you think that could play into things?
Haven't done anything around here in the wet, but after doing like quite a lot of wet in Cremona, like just getting the confidence to brake late and all of that stuff, it's like, I think I'm quite confident if we go into wet that I won't be like last.
Good stuff, as you say. Cremona was very, very wet indeed. Freddie, thanks for your time. As I say, let's have a little bit of a recap of what their results were earlier on today, as once again I fiddle with the tablets. In the inter-category, Ruben Sagu, Ilas Sammy trying to find a little bit of pace out there, 24th, 25th. In terms of Freddie Wood, 17th in the juniors. Will Green only 11th, so I think again that's showing just how competitive the juniors is this season. Will's been having a tremendous season though in OK Junior competition. Last week was racing in Italy for the third round of the European Championships. Was looking good. Hey, he's here for a bit of fun this weekend, but you know, there's a driver there who has massively impressed me this season once again, taking that big step up from mini karts into junior karts and doing it at a very high level. So again, keep an eye on Will Green across the course of this weekend. We also need to keep an eye on Isaac Sayer. Isaac had a very, very good run across the first double header at Warden Law. I will just remind myself of where he was in practice earlier today. Where was he earlier today? Oh, he's P13 in the juniors, but we'll see if we can have a little chat with Isaac. Step on in. Isaac, good start to the day. Looking to find the pace out there?
Yeah, it was quite tough to get up to speed, but I think we'll be fine for tomorrow.
And like others in this awning, you're another driver with a lot of international experience. You know, this year, you know, racing in Champions of the Future Academy and other series such as that. How does racing here in the British Kart Championships, you say, how does it compare to racing out in Europe?
A lot of the best drivers in Europe and in the world are from Britain, so it's quite similar. The level is just like less drivers, but the level is really high.
What do you make of this circuit in terms of when we do get to racing? Again, I just asked Freddie about if we get a little bit of wet weather later on in the weekend. Do you feel ready for that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some wet weather. It looks quite fun in the wet, and like especially the last sector is so technical. There's only a few overtaking opportunities. So yeah.
Good stuff, Isaac. Thanks for your time. We'll see you out there on track later on in the weekend. But yeah, as I say, Isaac makes a very good point there about the last sector. We'll head up on to premium karting. I wouldn't say it's absolutely single file through that last sequence. That's almost like a slalom ski course in the Winter Olympics in a way. But again, if you get particularly the first entry, the first corner wrong, you are going to struggle all the way down the hill and arguably all the way back up to Spoon Curve for the next lap, because it's that rhythm thing of you get one corner wrong, the next 3, 4, 5 corners are wrong, and you're probably defensive into turn 1 as well. So yes, it's going to be interesting, particularly if we do get a little bit of drizzle across the weekend. We'll just have a quick word with George on George House, giving us a little wave. George obviously now back in the British Champs, looking for another set of results. If you haven't seen any of George's racing in IAME Euro Series so far this year, boy oh boy, he has been absolutely smashing it with the results. As I say, in the European Series, has already got a very sizable lead in the points there. Had a commanding victory at Wera, what was it, about 3 or 4 weeks ago? Can't quite remember now. But yes, a driver that we're going to be keeping an eye on. We have been saying throughout the course of the season that we expect him to be at the front. And of course, a lot of the drivers in this paddock in IAME Water Swift race in that European competition as well. So they know his standards. They're all going to be eyes on him. But yeah, keep an eye on George House once again here this weekend. Premium karting, Freddie Lloyd. Again, looking good. Fred, all good? Yeah, all good. I think that's all we need to know from Fast Freddy. Looking more at home, I would say, back on an OTK product. Obviously, he had some runs on the KR products back in the Fusion team, which obviously he was with last season as well. Earlier on in the year, preferred the OTK product. That's why he switched into the premium karting team, who run that product regularly. So yeah, keep an eye on Lloyd, another one of the big contenders here this weekend. We'll just step out of the way because George House's 177 is about to go out for a practice session. We will talk about Excel as once again. Excuse me, as I found my notes once again for these guys, because they are a big team. George House was P15. Okay, so George didn't actually have the best of timed free practices earlier on today. And apologies, all my other Excel Motorsport drivers have disappeared for that moment. Harrison Morrow back again in the 372 for Class and Motorsport. Had a decent run of things at Warden Law last time out. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. Didn't set any times in FP3 though, so not fully sure where Harrison is at the moment. If we go on the basis of what we saw at Warden Law, probably going to be pushing maybe for a top 15, maybe even a top 10. Daily Motorsport, let's have a discussion about them. They looked very good, particularly in IAME Water Swift. Apologies, I think we've hit their 10s just as some of the younger categories are out on track. They've been looking very quick again here. Corey Lyons, you can remember last time at Warden Law, had some really strong results, riding high in the points standings at the moment. He was P5. Jaden McElhenney, who had very good speed at times at Warden Law, just maybe didn't quite have the look and the rub of the green. Well, he was second fastest in TQ earlier today. Ilas Sammy is lying on the floor. Or he was lying on the floor. Let's have a chat with Ilas, because I'm intrigued now. Ilas, what was going on just there? Why were you lying on the floor in your lovely JGR suit?
Just play fighting with my uncle, so.
Fair enough. How's practice gone for you so far today?
Actually pretty good, so yeah.
And you've been doing a lot of racing. I know you've been racing out in Europe as well. Are you having a happy time this season?
Yeah, happy time this season, yeah. Better than last season.
What do you think's making the difference that's making you a bit happier this year?
Just a new team and new coaching and everything, so hope next year I can be at the top at the front of the grid, so yeah.
Good stuff. What would you be happy with the result? What have you got your eye on for this weekend? Give me a prediction.
Don't know what to say about that, but be happy, but yeah.
Good stuff. Ilas, we'll see you later on, and we'll leave you to your exercises. It's good to see a driver having some good fun there. As I say, Ilas has been working really hard, and as I say, if there's a driver who for me deserves some good results, deserves a bit of turn of luck, then it's definitely Ilas Sammy. Let's have a little further look through who we've missed. Apologies. We talked about DMS, Ethan Robinson, Sophie Campbell and John Foley Jr. all needing to maybe find a turn of pace here, all in the teens or outside the top 20, but they've got the time to do so across the course of the remaining practice sessions today, and of course TQ. And again, that's the lovely thing about these double headers, that if you do have a little bit of a off Saturday, you can come back once again on the Sunday for another go. This is actually whilst we're up here Another interesting part of the course. Last time I was stood up around these parts, it was for some Club 100 racing, doing some observing on the inside. Very tricky part of the circuit. I don't know if we can just about zoom in to see it there, Dan, that again, if we get a bit of inclement weather later on in the season, or in the weekend rather, we definitely will at some point of the season. After all, it's the British Kart Championships. We will get wet weather between now and September. But the driver's left-hand side, or the right-hand side as we're looking at it, really tricky part of the course, because it actually drops away. If you get on the outside in a race situation, if someone gets their nose down the inside on the approach to this right-hander, this really is a kind of corner where you've just kind of got to let it go, because the number of times I've seen drivers try to hold it, do the hero line round the outside here, and then find themselves in the dip, and particularly if adhesion is low, if we've had a bit of drizzle, if the temperatures are low, they can run wide, and again with the contours of the land, you are just off. You are off in the grass, and you'll keep going for quite a while until you meet a further bit of grass or the rocks, or if you're going at some particular speed, you find the tyre wall. So look out for drivers here having battles, but needing to pick their battles very, very calmly indeed, to keep themselves in squabbles, particularly when we get into the final third of races. You can overtake round here. This isn't like some circuits where you've got to pick your moments. There are a good number of opportunities. It's a good opportunity to slipstream round here as well, particularly when you run up the hill towards Spoon Curve. But yeah, that's that part of the course there, coming round down Devil's Elbow into the compression section again. Very, very tricky part of the circuit. I want to see if we can find some more drivers actually. We've not gone down this part of the paddock yet. Sorry Dan, I'm having you doing box steps everywhere at the moment. But we'll head back on down into the paddock. Let's have a little bit of a talk about S8 if I can find it. Well, I've just found all of my Excel Motorsport notes, which we'll come back to in a moment. But we saw some really good speed from Rhys Newburn and Harry Cottrell back at Warden Law. Obviously, they're running on the TB kart chassis for the S8 racing team. I was having a little bit of a watch of the senior practice earlier on, and they looked really solid out there. We'll have a little bit of chat with Rhys. I've got you again. I'm struggling to find drivers here today, mate. New lid. Right. So the first question I've got to ask about the new lid, how many tenths is the new lid worth?
Well, so far since we were testing it, it's been about 2. So.
Okay, that's a solid 2. 2 to 3 tenths is always good.
Welsh. We've got the Welsh flag on there.
Okay, so you're going to be my first local driver in a way, but you're maybe not the most local drivers.
No.
GYG is a circuit. What do you know about it?
I mean, I've only been here, raced here twice. I mean, I know it's not the best for overtaking, but it's sort of fun to drive, not fun to race, is what I'd say. But it's not the best track. The
overtaking chance is probably up the hill into Spoon, but downhill as well into Carousel.
If you get a good run, yeah, you need a proper good run down the hill. So overtaking's been a struggle a bit, but we'll get there.
No repecharges to worry about this weekend for the seniors. So you think it's going to be quite cutthroat out there?
Oh yeah, it will be, definitely. You'll probably find there'll be quite a long train just battling the whole race, is what I reckon.
Good stuff, Rhys. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll keep an eye out for the new lid and head on back down the paddock. I say apologies. We'll come back to Excel Motorsport because I didn't do them service earlier on. Bodie Batch P3, Albert J Stubbs P4. That's being, of course, in the IAME Water Swift restricted category. Colby Patterson P14, second in the championship at the moment. That's, of course, in the inter category. Andy Stewart and Johnson Stewart having some good runs again, both in the top 20. Charlie Clough, of course, with them now as well. MDL, there's some stories in MDL that I don't think we really did full service for back at Warden Law, particularly Tristan Powell in the senior category. We've had 2 rounds of this championship already. We'll have another 2 this weekend. I think one of the interesting things is going to be, can Tristan hold himself in the top 10 of the standings at the start of the weekend. So yeah, we'll definitely keep a weathered eye on Tristan. I'm just trying to remind myself where he was. P12 earlier on today in the 388. Change of colours as well for Laith Khan. Laith Khan now in the 378, running with MDL Motorsport, was P20 in his practice session that we had the times on from earlier on today. Let's head on further down. We've got Fusion, of course, looking to have some strong results here this weekend. Austin Gibson, P1 earlier on today in his session in the Inter category. Other highlights for Fusion included, what did we have? We had a P2 for Alfie Davidson. That was also in the Inter category, so a 1-2 for them in that one. Aaron Richardson looking good once again in juniors. Had a big breakthrough at Warden Law, of course, was P4. P6 for Sukhmani Kira. I'm also having a look, how did Riley Cranham get on? Riley Cranham was P3, championship leader, of course. Harrison Mackie P2 in the seniors as well. We'll poke our nose as we do into Fusion. In fact, let's have a chat with a new driver that we haven't seen in the championship before. Ollie Vo is going to step on in here and give us a bit of a rundown on how the day's gone for the 264. Ollie, welcome to the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Your first time, at least whilst I've been here, that you've raced with us. What's brought you to GYG this weekend?
To be honest, I'm just here experiencing my first weekend at British Champs, and so far it's been good. We're a little bit off the pace, but that's to be expected. But yeah, enjoying it.
And you're in a good place as well. You know, these guys have a lot of experience. How did the partnership get together to get you in the Fusion tent?
Well, to be honest, I previously did Rotax last year, and I wanted to move to X30, and my friend Finley Lyons and my other one, Ollie Cook, were basically helping me choose a team. We settled with Fusion, and here we are today.
And you're feeling at home? You're feeling ready for the race weekend?
Yeah, the kart feels amazing. Like, I've been welcomed very well by the team, and yeah.
What do you make of this circuit? I can say that the tyres have been given a good bit of work over today. It's been quite warm and muggy out there.
Yeah, the tyres have definitely died off as the day's gone on. Like, it destroys it. Like, testing last weekend, we went on 3 new sets of tyres. So I guess we just have to manage tyre wear.
And I guess it is that one of the reasons because of that, because you have so many corners, camber changes, the kart going light in places. I was having a look at some of the seniors earlier on today, particularly through the last corner. There's little dips in the track surface here and there that you've got to navigate your way around.
It's really just the track's very abrasive. Like, if you have a look at the ground compared to PF5, there's a lot of gaps, and the rubber just gets shedded off the tyres really fast.
Good stuff, Ollie. We'll keep an eye on how he's getting on his debut weekend. But yeah, for me, the kind of the nature of things with the tyres is personally why I love this place. I think it's such an interesting circuit for racing. Particularly at this high level. Harrison Mackie, as I say, looking quick. Harrison was, of course, your race winner at Wera a few weeks ago. Harrison getting that first win in a senior category. I have not seen you as emotional as that in quite a while. It felt to me like that was a really important win for you.
Yeah, it's obviously Euro Series. It's one of the biggest championships in the IAME world, and to win against all the senior drivers who are a couple years older than me is quite a good feeling to be able to win against them.
Back into British mode now, a championship to focus on as well. How do you prepare for yourself for this second doubleheader? You know, you had some decent results back at Warden Law, but you know there was a certain other Harrison about a month ago who was looking pretty quick.
Yeah, in the British Champs, how long it is, it's obviously quite a lot around, so being consistent is the main thing. You ain't got to go and win every race, but if you can, that's what you go do. But the main thing is just keep consistent, have top 5s, and you'll always be there for the championship towards the end.
Reckon you've got the pace to beat Whittingham this weekend?
Yeah, we've shown it today. We tried a few things towards the end of the day. We weren't as good, but we'll go back to what we know and hopefully see the best tomorrow.
Good stuff, Harrison. I'll leave you to it. Thanks for talking to us. Yeah, quiet confidence, I think, there for Harrison Mackie. Harry Chapman just ran on by. His own awning's a little bit further up, but yeah, DQ in the second round for Harry Chapman. So he didn't keep the results that he had on track, but again was looking pretty good. I think he was fastest, if I remember correctly, earlier on today. So yeah, that's looking good. We've actually run out on time. Lot to talk about here this weekend, but don't worry, we've got the Paddock show tomorrow evening as well, and of course a full 2 days of action here at Glannygorse. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this little preview for the weekend ahead. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning here for round 3 of both the IAME and KZ2 competitions.